That $5 Costco rotisserie chicken everyone swears by is not really a $5 chicken. It is a $4 chicken injected with up to 15% of its weight in salt water, sugar, and phosphates. And you are paying for the brine. I know that sounds like a stretch. It is not. Costco's prepared food section, the rotisserie chickens, the chicken bakes, the deli salads, the frozen lasagnas, is one of the most quietly engineered cost-cutting operations in American retail. Members trust the Kirkland signature label so completely that most never flip the package over to read what is actually in it. Costco's prepared foods business is estimated at over $5 billion annually. That is a core profit center. And the engineering behind it, brining systems, modified starches, seed oil dressings, pre-cooked proteins relabeled as fresh prepared, was designed by the same industrial co-manufacturers that supply every other grocery chain in the country. 3 items at the end of this video are genuinely worth your money. One of them is something most members walk right past. I will get there. I spent 3 weeks auditing every Kirkland signature ingredient panel, every USDA filing, and every co-manufacturer relationship behind Costco's prepared foods aisle. And the results were not what I expected. Let's start with the math, because the math explains everything. To produce one genuinely fresh rotisserie chicken, a retailer needs to source a whole bird, season it, and roast it the same day. That requires labor, refrigeration, and waste tolerance for unsold birds. At Costco scale, there are over 130 million rotisserie chickens sold per year. That math does not work without engineering. So they built a workaround. It is called enhanced poultry. The bird arrives at the warehouse already injected with a brine of salt, sugar, sodium phosphates, and carrageenan. That solution does 3 things. It adds weight. You are paying per chicken, not per ounce of meat. It locks in moisture during long heat lamp holding times. And it suppresses the spoilage signals that would otherwise tell you the bird has been sitting out for 6 hours. Now for the legal architecture, USDA Regulation 9, CFR 381.169 permits up to 15% added solution by weight in chickens labeled enhanced, basted, and/or self-basting. A 100-ounce chicken can legally contain 15 ounces of brine. The label is not required to use the word injected. It is not required to disclose the percentage. That is loophole 1. Here is loophole 2. FDA labeling rules permit all natural claims on products containing modified food starch, autolyzed yeast extract, and natural flavors derived from MSG adjacent compounds. The word natural on a Costco prepared meal is marketing, not a regulated standard. And loophole 3, refrigerated deli case items prepared in store are governed by different disclosure rules than packaged goods. The full nutrition panel and standardized allergen formatting are not required in the same way. You are reading a sticker, not a label. The result, a prepared foods aisle that looks like a fresh cooked deli and is actually an industrial assembly line wearing a Kirkland uniform. The skip list. Skip 1. Kirkland rotisserie chicken. The $5 rotisserie chicken is the most famous loss leader in American retail. Costco has held the price at $4.99 since 2009, a customer acquisition tool, not a profit item. They lose money on every chicken. The economics work because you came in for the chicken and left with $300 of other things. Flip the package. Read the small print. Chicken, water, salt, sodium phosphate, modified food starch, carrageenan, sugar, dextrose, natural flavor. That second ingredient, water, is the brine. Sodium phosphate binds the injected solution inside the muscle during cooking. Carrageenan prevents it from leaking out under the heat lamp. A single Kirkland rotisserie chicken contains close to 4,000 milligrams of sodium total. That is nearly double the FDA's recommended daily limit for an entire adult in one bird. In 2023, a class action was filed in Washington state alleging Costco's rotisserie supply chain violated state animal welfare standards. That case focused on sourcing. The brining issue is a separate ingredient question and it is not in dispute. It is on the label. You are paying $4.99 for a chicken. You are receiving roughly 4 ounces of brine. Skip 2. Kirkland chicken bake. The chicken bake is the food court legend. Bacon, chicken, cheese, Caesar dressing, all rolled in pizza dough. Members defend it like a regional delicacy. Flip the wrapper, the ingredient list runs over 40 distinct components. Modified food starch appears 3 times. In the dough, the cheese blend, and the dressing. Soybean oil and canola oil are present in addition to the cheese fat. Sodium phosphate appears in both the chicken and the bacon. Total sodium per chicken bake is approximately 1,440 milligrams, over 60% of the FDA daily limit in a single handheld lunch. The chicken bake is engineered for one purpose: to hold its structure under a heat lamp for hours without separating. Every modified starch, every gum, every phosphate is doing structural work. That is why the wrapper feels uniform every time. It is a manufactured product behaving exactly as designed. Skip 3, Kirkland Chicken Pot Pie. This is the one that surprises members. The 4-pound chicken pot pie in the refrigerated case looks homemade. The crust is golden. The filling is visible through the dome. Sold as comfort food at a comfort food price. Flip it. The crust ingredient panel lists palm oil and palm shortening as the primary fat, not butter. Modified food starch is the gravy's primary thickener, not flour. The chicken itself is mechanically separated and pre-cooked, then folded into the filling cold and baked into the crust. Sodium per single serving is approximately 900 milligrams, and most members do not eat one serving. They eat 2 or 3. Total sodium load on a typical portion crosses 2,000 milligrams. That is nearly the entire daily FDA limit in one meal. The visual is doing work the ingredient panel does not support. Skip 4, Kirkland Macaroni and Cheese, Deli Case. The Deli Case mac and cheese is sold by the pound. It looks like the kind of thing a caterer would make for a family event. Flip the sticker, sodium phosphate, disodium phosphate, modified food starch, sodium citrate, annatto extract for color, cellulose powder as anti-caking agent in the cheese blend. The cheese sauce is engineered to remain emulsified across temperature swings. Refrigeration to reheating to buffet table. A real cheese sauce breaks when it cools. This one does not. There is a chemistry reason, and it is on the label. Sodium runs approximately 1,020 milligrams per cup serving, 44% of the FDA daily limit in a side dish. The product is also produced by a co-manufacturer that supplies private label deli mac and cheese to multiple national chains. The Kirkland label does not change the formulation, it changes the perception of it. Skip 5, Kirkland Caesar Salad Kit. Salad sounds safe. The Caesar Salad Kit feels like the responsible choice. Flip the dressing pouch. Soybean oil, water, distilled vinegar, salt, garlic, anchovy paste, sugar, egg yolk, xanthan gum, natural flavor. The first ingredient is industrial soybean oil, not olive oil, not avocado oil. Soybean oil, used because it is cheap, shelf-stable, and neutral. The croutons use palm oil and modified food starch. The cheese is processed with cellulose powder. The romaine is washed in chlorine-based sanitizing solution and standard industry practice. But worth noting that fresh here means industrially sanitized. Total sodium on the full kit, dress and consume, runs over 1,200 milligrams. The salad you reach for to feel responsible is delivering more sodium than the rotisserie chicken. Skip 6, Kirkland Beef Lasagna, frozen prepared. The frozen prepared beef lasagna is positioned as restaurant quality at warehouse pricing. The packaging shows a steaming dish, a fresh basil, a layered cross-section. The label tells a different story. Textured vegetable protein, TVP, is listed in the meat sauce. That means a portion of what is labeled beef is actually soy protein engineered to mimic ground beef texture. Sodium nitrite appears in the cured meat component. Modified food starch appears in 3 separate layers: meat sauce, bechamel, and cheese blend. Total sodium for a single serving is approximately 1,170 milligrams. The lasagna is produced by a co-manufacturer that supplies frozen Italian meals to airline catering and institutional food service. There is no Costco kitchen producing this lasagna. There is an industrial co-manufacturer producing it to a Costco specification, using the same modified starch and soy protein architecture as every other private label frozen lasagna on the market. Music lifts transitions into empowerment. Before we get to the 3 items that are actually worth your money, here is how you audit any Costco prepared meal in 30 seconds. standing in the warehouse before it goes in your cart. It is called the sodium math test. Look at milligrams of sodium per serving on the nutrition panel. Divide by 23. The result is the percentage of your FDA daily sodium limit you are consuming in a single serving. If the answer is over 35, that one serving is delivering more than a third of your entire daily sodium budget. Most prepared foods at Costco fail this test on a single serving. And most members eat more than one, then run the 5-ingredient scan. Read the first 5 ingredients. Apply one rule. If you see modified food starch, sodium phosphate, soybean oil, carrageenan, or natural flavor, in those first 5 positions, the product is engineered, not cooked. Ingredients are listed in descending order by weight. If sodium phosphate is in the top 5 of a chicken product, there is more phosphate in that product than the spices, herbs, and most seasonings below it combined. Now, the items that pass the real list. Reel 1, Kirkland Atlantic salmon, raw, prepared counter. The Kirkland Atlantic salmon at the raw seafood counter is the single best value in the prepared foods adjacent aisle, and most members walk past it because they are looking for ready-to-eat items. Flip the label, Atlantic salmon, that is it, one ingredient. The salmon is sourced from Norway and Scotland under Costco's own supplier auditing program, one of the more rigorous private label aquaculture standards in the US market. No phosphate brine, no color enhancer, no natural flavor additive. Approximately $12 to $14 per pound. That puts a meaningful protein meal for a family of 4 at roughly $25 total. Cheaper per serving than the rotisserie chicken once you account for actual edible weight after the brine cooks off. The prepared aisle wants your attention. The raw seafood case across from it has the better deal. Reel 2, Kirkland Organic Quinoa Salad. The Kirkland Organic Quinoa and Kale Salad is one of the few deli case items where the ingredient list is short enough to read in full. Organic quinoa, organic kale, organic dried cranberries, organic pumpkin seeds, organic olive oil, lemon juice, sea salt, organic spices. That is an actual food ingredient list. Olive oil, not soybean oil. Sea salt, not sodium phosphate. Organic dried fruit, not high fructose corn syrup. The product is USDA certified organic, which means every ingredient was traced through a certified supply chain. Costco is paying for that certification on your behalf and absorbing the cost in the unit price. Sodium runs approximately 320 milligrams per cup, well under the sodium math test threshold. Approximately $10 to $12 for a 2-pound container. 5 to 6 servings of a side dish that is actually nutritionally complete. The consumer win on this list. Walk past the long bowl deli salads and look for the smaller container with the simpler label. Reel 3, Kirkland Signature, organic chicken stock. This one is not a meal, it is the foundation of a meal, and it is the single most underrated item in the Kirkland prepare category. The Kirkland organic chicken stock is sold in 32-ounce boxes, 4 to a pack. Read the ingredient list. Organic chicken stock, organic onions, organic carrots, organic celery, organic salt, organic spices. That is the entire list. No yeast extract, no natural flavor, no autolyzed protein, no modified starch, no phosphates. Approximately $11 for the 4-pack, roughly $2.75 per box. National brand organic chicken stock at a regular grocery store runs $5 to $6 per box. You're paying half the price for the same standard. This is the proof that Costco can do a clean prepared product when the category supports it. The reason the rotisserie chicken contains brine and the stock does not is not a Costco decision. It is a category decision. The shelf-stable box stock category does not permit the same shortcuts as the warm prepared poultry category. Find the items where the rules favor the consumer, and Costco delivers genuinely. Here is what you now know. Costco's prepared foods business runs on 3 industrial shortcuts: USDA permitted brine injection in poultry, modified starch and seed oil bulking in deli salads and entrees, and pre-cooked frozen proteins repackaged as fresh prepared. The Kirkland Signature label creates a halo of quality across all of it. And the halo is real on some items and entirely a marketing layer in others. You now know the difference. You run the sodium math test on any nutrition panel before the item goes in your cart. You read the first 5 ingredients. You know what sodium phosphate means on a chicken label. You know what modified food starch means in a prepared meal. Your Costco membership is not a quality guarantee. It is buying power applied to whatever the supplier delivers. The Kirkland label is doing real work on the salmon, the quinoa salad, and the organic stock. It is doing marketing work on the rotisserie chicken, the chicken bake, and the prepared lasagna. Both can be true on the same warehouse aisle. The food industry will not draw that distinction for you. That is exactly why we do this. Subscribe, because we are not stopping.